ice, nothing is available. But how far you can eat ice? You can't. Because already cold. If it is in your home, you can enjoy ice. But when you are in the Antarctica, when the entire thing is cold, and then you don't feel touching that also. There are some fish. What do you do then? After all, you have to survive. Then you catch the fish, and then you eat it. You have to survive, otherwise you will die. Survival is the first thing then. Then next thing comes, practicing good or bad comes next if you survive. If your life is gone, then what is the good and bad? You have to survive first. So no questions are asked then. And you catch a fish and you start eating that. I know when there were droughts in some part of the world, in India sometimes, probably 1930s. 1920s.
20s.
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 And then mothers were selling their children for want of food. And even they killed people and they ate for survival's sake. It was a situation like that, but it was, it's very bad story though. But it is that's what it is. You have to survive after all. Then no matter what is available there, even if there is a cockroach available there, you catch it and eat it. I know, you because such a situation should never arise, should not arise, for God's sake. But if at all something happens like that, and you are forced to eat it is the hunger that makes you to eat it. It doesn't mean that you can eat it. And when you are home, your mother is there, your wife is there, she cooks 4 or 5 delicious varieties of food, and she is interested in feeding you sumptuously, and everything is there, and if these things also brought and kept there, do you choose them? Why did you eat then? It is the need that demanded you. So, when you are traveling, and still you need not just go for such things which are not permitted, as long as you can. We, all of our people, we travel from India, right? And now, of course, it's pretty easy because traveling from India is direct flights are available. Much faster. To New York or Newark or Chicago, to so many places direct flights are available, and you can come from Delhi or Bombay directly here. But when we were coming in the 94 is the first time we came to US. 94. And then from Hyderabad we used to go to Delhi. From Delhi then we take a flight and it comes to London. And London wait for other flight and catch it. And it comes to either New York or somewhere. From there you may be going to somewhere else and go there. And otherwise sometimes it's not from the London, it is from the Frankfurt. So if it goes from Frankfurt, then it may be 6 hours of waiting there.
Right, yes.
For the next flight. Sometimes 8 hours. And you know how much time it used to take? Because we start from our place. Maybe if it is an international flight, it is 3 hours before. You should be in the flight, you should be in the airport. And then journey from Hyderabad to Delhi is 2 hours. That means 5 hours. From Delhi to Frankfurt or London is 9 hours. And 14 plus waiting hours 6, 20. And again 8 hours to US, 28 or 30. And then to the other place if you are going to somewhere else, nearby. And then another few hours. And then getting the immigration clearance,
That
that is a couple of hours, and then go to your place, that may be another hour, and then take snanam and do the aradhana, and then prasadam is prepared, offer that to the Lord, and then take prasadam. Almost 40 hours. And we never used to take even a drop of water. Not even drop of water. Even now also it's the same way we do. But still we never feel like drinking water. It is not, oh no, I have to control. What can I do if he's drinking and I'm not drinking? He's eating and I'm not eating. Because when you are in the flight, every 2 hours, somebody comes and says, hi. They keep offering so many things, wonderful fragrance and so many things you can just, see all around, people eating and stuff. And at least there will be some kind of relishment, in your tongue. But even that also we never felt like drinking or eating something, stuff like that. It's not because we are a big practitioner of sadhana and something like that. Nothing. We are not a big practitioner as such. But that is what we decided to be like that. That's it. Your mind is a very powerful machine. If you say work like this, it works like that. That's it. But when you are home, then every 15 minutes something you have to drop into the You feel like something getting dehydrated. You feel like that. You feel like that. Sometimes when you are just passing by the airport, from the cafeteria, the nice fragrances, just keep coming all through. And in TV also he shows. And so much excitement, but in spite of all those things, not only me, even the persons who are traveling with us also, they won't eat or they won't drink anything. And I never felt. Not only for me, even for you also, I'll tell you something. Suppose that is your birthday. You prepare wonderful things on that day. You wanted your wife to prepare so many things for you on that day. And you brought everything and she also prepared. Because you have to eat all those preparations since 3 days, you are keeping a little place in your stomach. So that you can eat more delicious foods than the regular foods. But somehow, some kind of miscommunication, understanding, and you got upset with your wife, or your wife got upset with you. Do you eat them? Do you eat them? No. She brings everything. I don't want. No, I'm okay. You pour something. But you don't eat because you are upset. What does it mean by upsetting?
Changing your mindset.
You set to your mind, don't eat today. By starving, I make them cry. Something you teach to your mind like that, so you don't feel like eating. And still you withstand. You don't feel weakness also on that day, you feel more energetic. It's pretty simple, You taught to your mind that way, but that is negative. But what we see while traveling is very positive. In flight, whenever we travel, in the air hostess often used to come and say, hey, have something. You are at 40,000 feet height. You get dehydrated. Take something. But once we say no, then they go. And after 6 hours or 8 hours, they come and say, hey, take something. I say, no, if something happens, all of you are there now. So I'm not worried. They get surprised, how you maintain. They say, if you drink more water and do exercise, that's what they teach you constantly in the flight, In between different shows, they show you, do some exercise and just keep walking here and there. Drink more water. But I never get dehydrated so far. And in spite of 40 hours of that travel and come back home, and there were occasions when we went directly to some function, attended, and then only we went for other aradhana activities because people were just waiting for that activity. It is the mindset. What I say, it's not the body, it is the mind that makes everything happen. For man, I am talking about the man. Forget about the animals and stuff. Man is a product who lives by mind, not by body. He lives by thought, not by food. That is what you need to understand. If your thought process is X, Y, Z, that means you are able to do it. That's it. People think, oh, without that, how can I live? I became weak. You never become weak. If you want, you can. So this is what it is, So we want to add more sattvic stuff, food, water, whatever it is, and then we avoid all the rajasic and tamasic foods, any kind of things like that, and that is the main thing which gives us the energy. So we want that kind of things, and this is what we want. We are for that sattva, and this is prema, love. And tulsi mala, that increases sattva. Rudraksha is always aggressive. Tulsi is pretty sattvic. So we wear tulsi mala. Always we can keep it. Even when you are observing the menstrual cycle stuff, even then you can have it. You need not remove it. Always. As you are in your Bhavita, thus it is. That's it. So it becomes a part of you. Because Yamaraj said, those who wear tulsi, garland, don't touch them, they are Vaishnavas. So for Yamaraj, there is no official time from 9 to 6 like that. And 24 hours. And there is no official place where he comes as you go to the immigration office. So, when you are in bathroom also he can come and wish you. And even if you want to hide somewhere, still he knows all the places and he can wish you without any problem. So we never want it to be removed and we keep it always with us. That is the tulsi mala. This is what Yamaraj said. So, two things what he pointed out is one Sankam Chakram and second is the Pundra. And this is with Tapa, we call it the Tapa Samskara. And this is Pundra Samskara. Samskaram is basically adding a qualification. A qualification. You are qualifying yourself from normal plane to a higher plane. And having taken the insignia of Lord Mahavishnu and feeling that his presence on us, and then we take his mantra and chant it always. And then we keep him with us. Because he is all pervasive, he is pretty much here also. So people ask us, Swamiji, you carry it with you always? And then we say, we won't carry. He carries us always with him. He takes us always with him. So we go along with him. The ticket which we purchase for him only. And we are one of his belongings. So we go along with him. So we are always with him, and whatever and whenever we do something, just we keep dedicating everything to him. And that is what we call as yaga. Yaga. And then being blessed with this kind of understanding and exposure through the gurus, we always subserve our gurus. And we feel ourselves as the benevolent servant of those gurus. So we call them as dasa. And the lineage of gurus has been strengthened by the Acharya Ramanuja. It is the Ramanujacharya who made the whole lineage more strong and eternal. And even today we are giving you the mantra. It means it's not my mantra I give you. It is the mantra given by Acharya Ramanuja. He gave to his disciples. They to their disciples. They to their disciples. It came in a lineage. So thus we, being the mouthpiece of them, is delivering that. So it is that Acharya Ramanuja who is the real Acharya for all of us. So we call us as Ramanuja Dasas. So that's the name we take. So these are 5 samskaras basically. The tapa, pundra, and mantra, yaga, and nama, dasa, nama. These are the 5 samskaras, qualifications we add to us, and thus we consider it as a new birth for us. The birth which came to us by virtue of our body. And of course it will be there till it goes. But because it is the one permitting us to get rid of all the past karmas, and it is the one paving us the way not to add new karmas. So we of course will be with this, but we make it a Vaishnava Janma. We call it a new birth altogether. But this is an adopted karma, adopted birth for us. It's not born to us. No matter whether you or she or he or anyone, but once he goes through this process of taking all the 5 samskaras, he becomes a Vaishnava or she becomes a Vaishnava. Prior to Ramanujacharya, other than Brahmin community was not at all given the mantra at all. Even among the Brahmin communities, no ladies were ever given mantras. But it was Ramanuja who opened the doors for anyone, for everyone interested, if interested. Give them mantra and give them the Vaishnava Janma. And when we become Vaishnava, we are children of God. No matter who, where, and how we grew, we become Vaishnavas. And we respect them also as Vaishnavas. So it is said, when one becomes a Vaishnava, don't ask in what caste you born, and don't ask in what place you born. That is a sinful act, is what they say. Naiva grama kuladibhi Vishnuna vyapadeshtavya. Recognize him with connection to the God Vishnu. Because for him everything is God Vishnu. So you should recognize him as a Vaishnava. That is what it is. Now you can ask your question.
అందుకే ఆయన వెయిట్ చేయను